All right, so here's our frequencies. So we've got our these are our probabilities. We've got marginal frequency and joint frequency. And remember, frequency is the number of times something happens. So like we flip a coin 10 times, we get 5 heads and 5 tails. The frequency is the number 5. The probability is 0.5 or 1/2. So probability is probability. I'm just going to write this down here because people are still messing up on this. Probability is always going to be less than or equal to 1, and it's always going to be greater than or equal to, I'm doing this like a programming student. So it's always, probability is always going to be a number that's greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 1. If you ever get a probability that is like 1.6 or something, you've done something wrong. You need to go back and check your work. Probably, based on what I've seen on homeworks, probably what you've done wrong is you've divided something when you should have multiplied it. But remember, probability is always going to be somewhere between 0 and 1 inclusive. Remember this. Use this to check your work on your tests. But anyways, so let's calculate the probabilities based on these frequencies that we did in the last video. So I'm going to redraw this table again. Alright, so there's A sub 2, B. Alright, so what is this out of, right? So 2, well, this whole thing is actually, I should have put that in there. This whole thing is actually out of 15. So out of all the possible combinations of A and B, 2/15. Let's do the math. Well, the 5/15 are easy. Those are both 0.33, right? Because these are like 5 out of 15, 3 out of 15, 5 out of 15, 2 out of 15. So that's 0.33 in both of those. 3/15 is equal to 1/5, which is 0.2, and 2/15 is 0.13. And those are rounding, obviously, because otherwise we would only add up to 0.9. But altogether, that adds up to 0.1, or 1.0. Sorry, that's the total here. And then our marginals are just going to be sums again. So we know that like we already know that 7 out of 15 is going to be the sum of these two. It's going to be 0.46. That's 7/15. And then this one's going to be 0.52. Am I doing that right? Yeah, well, it's actually going to be more like 0.54 because we did rounding and that's going to confuse everything here. No, it should have been 0.5. Yeah, 0.5, we'll say 0.54 so it adds up to 1. It's actually 0.53 if we just add those decimals, but remember this one is a rounding of 0.33333 infinitely. And then this one is the same thing, 0.46 and 0.5. We'll make this one the 0.53 as well. Okay, so again, roughly these add up to, wow, I can't write, I'm like crazy. Roughly, these add up to 1.0, and it's only rough because we rounded. If we did the fractions, 7/15 plus 8/15 is equal to 1, right? So we just, for doing joint probabilities out of the whole number of possibilities, we're doing the number, the frequency in each joint frequency divided by the total number. So it's going to be joint. So joint probability is equal to joint frequency over the total number of events. Alright, so that's how we calculate all this stuff, and you can actually go all the way through using frequencies in most of these things, or you can go all the way through using probabilities. It doesn't matter that much, but that's how we calculate probability from frequency.